So, what am I doing? Oh, yes. So, a few corrections from last time. One, my wife didn't build the plateau. She found it. She wanted me to be very clear to clear that up. Two, apparently the French and Indian War was actually just a catalyst and or subset of the 7 Years' War, which is how it's known in most of the world, Europe. It's only really here in the US that it's referred to as the French and Indian War. And keyboard layout, there we go. And I used the phrase assassination, I think, last time, when it was simply a regular skirmish. When George Washington, a major at that time, left from, or just near Fort Duquesne, or Duquesne, depending on how you want to pronounce it, in Pennsylvania, what is now Pennsylvania, basically the city of Pittsburgh. And that music is way loud. How did my music get so loud? There you go. So yeah, just wanted to clarify those points. It's nighttime. I'm gonna go use a bed. But now, yes, we're in my quarry still. I was working on some tree farming, which I'm gonna show you a cool technique in case you care. So I realized that if you're like a hardcore, been playing this for years and years and years, a lot of the stuff that I show off is probably boring and old hat. However, is for those folk who are probably newer, that some of this stuff may actually be kind of useful, because I remember when I started playing, there was like the simple things, like how do you crouch? Well, on the computer it's shift. I just didn't know how to do that, just those little things. So some of the stuff I cover and do and talk about and show may be really old hat for more experienced players, but if you're newer, it might not be. So, right. So this is a dark oak tree. Ow. When you plant them as such. So this is going to be spruce, but dark oak will do the same thing. Put it in a 2x2 and let it go, and it will become these giant monolithic trees. Dark oak does the same thing, not quite as tall. And how I like to, cut them up is, cut in, hop up one, cut in, hop up one, and just kind of spiral my way up. And then when I get to the top, set a space, and then what I normally do, come back here, is kind of get on this easy to do and crouching kind of spot that's in the middle of them all, and then just start working my way down. It's actually really a lot easier when it's on that down. Spare. There we go. That rain is going to be really loud for y'all, because I don't really talk very loudly. I'll turn my audio. I'll get this audio right. I wish I could turn down the volume on the rain only. Or I wish rain in real life was really that loud, because I love listening to the rain, especially when I can't sleep. Although the other night, it was like 11 o'clock, I didn't sleep for like an hour, not even that, like half an hour. And I just got woken up by the sky itself just literally opened up, to use that phrase. It just dumped water. It was the sheet. It was a wall of water. And I'm going to help this along, because I'm impatient, but I need at least 4 dark oak saplings so I can repopulate this tree. I'm not getting them. That's going to be a problem. Because, yes, I need to repopulate this tree. The problem with dark oak is sometimes it drops a goodly amount, and other times it just doesn't. It can actually be one of those trees that does not repopulate easily. Apparently it does drop apples, which I didn't actually think about that, but it makes sense. Oh, that's 2, so I'm halfway there. I need 2 more saplings from this tree for it to break even. I'm not certain that that will happen, which will be sad. What are they up to? So yes, entropy. That's honestly why I was harvesting trees at this particular time, because I was considering the concept of entropy. So entropy is basically not so much that the universe is losing energy, because as you may recall, it can't. But oh, that's not hard to dark oak. It's more that the universe is becoming more chaotic, in that, I guess you could say, energy is being spread out. This is a dark oak sapling. It's spruce. So what did I plant? That's spruce. The energy is being more spread out. So I kind of think about that in terms of Minecraft. And I know it doesn't quite perfectly apply, but I was thinking about the fact that when I dig out a block with my bare hands, everything's good to go. Nothing is lost, nothing is gained, except for time. When I break stone, though, it gets converted into cobblestone. So we technically have a conservation of mass, but we have a state change in the block. It's become something else. And in order to convert it back, I need to apply full energy in the form of some sort of fuel, wood, coal, lava, what have you. And that is where the entropy kicks in. So when I burn a piece of coal, that coal is gone forever. I can't get it back. When I use up a bucket of lava, I have lost a block from my world. So there's a certain entropy involved. The world is becoming less. But like I said, not truly entropy. I guess what it really proves is that in Minecraft there is no conservation of energy. So yes, so I was thinking about that. And I was like, well, how could we convert, say, cobblestone into stone and not degrade the world, make the world less than it was, i.e. using up a bucket of lava or some coal? Because coal is not a renewable resource. Theoretically, if you were on a finite world, you would run out of coal, like the real world, or run out of coal, eventually. So how could we prevent that? And then it made me think about the achievement you can get. Here, so we can pull it up. I'm not killing time for that tree to fall apart. There is a achievement, where is it? I do admit I don't have all of them. That had to do. Oh, do I not have it on this machine? I thought I had all the same achievements. Smelt everything. Oh, interesting. I don't have the same achievements in Windows 10 that I have on my tablet. Weird. Huh. That's actually a little annoying. Like power burns lava. I do this all the time, but apparently I don't have it in this world. But anywho, there's... Where is it? I don't know how to find it now. It's not bothering me. The lie. The cake. It is a lie. Renewable energy. Here it is. Smelt wood trunks using charcoal to make more charcoal. And at the time, I didn't really think about that. I thought that was just a snide little joke. But I was thinking about it. And that might actually be legitimate. Because trees, I can just keep planting them. I can plant them, and they will grow. And it will theoretically give me enough saplings to replenish that tree. Although, maybe not in this case. Yeah, I see you, cat. Don't go scratching at that stair. And it made me realize, like, you use wood to burn wood to make charcoal, and then you can use the charcoal to make, other things. It's incredibly inefficient, but it's infinite. So it really is a renewable energy source. I do not think I'm going to get enough to rebuild this tree. So not dark oak. Dark oak, not renewable. I should have another sapling. So note to self, dark oak, not the way to go. Spruce, that is the way to go. So I was wondering if I could build an industrial furnace specifically designed to burn wood. But I wanted to do it so I didn't have to have two different hoppers, chests. Oh, see if these can break. They might give me enough to replenish this one, and then I will have broken even. I really don't like not breaking even. I really like dark oak, very pretty and dark, what have you. I don't know. I was trying to find a way to see if I'm wondering if I could feed one of my industrial furnaces entirely from one chest. So, an experiment for another time. But enough rambling about physics. Come on, break. Okay. Oh, it didn't give it. So it didn't break even on the dark oak. I had read somewhere that that's actually fairly common. So, dark oak, not a sustainable material, sadly. Let me put all this away, and then I shall show off what I've actually started the point of this video. So, I was going to show off my castle and the plateau as well. Let me grab a few things to bring up there. Okay, so, by the way, I never explained what this is. This is actually for forging obsidian. So you put lava in here, and then quickly put water in here, and you'll get obsidian. So this was how I forged obsidian, because I didn't feel like mining it down below. So I can, as long as I have a lava supply, I can make obsidian as needed. Kind of the same concept as my concrete maker over here. So, anywho, you may notice there's some changes here, because I got a llama. Llama. And I put a rug on it. Hello, llama. And while holding a chest, I was prompted to, put the chest on the llama. So you have to hold the chest to put the chest on the llama. You can't do it when you're riding it. But anyway, so I was like, well, I want my llama down here. And so I cut into the hillside. And I was like, well, this is ugly. So I used stone to kind of shore it up. Kind of make a retaining wall. But then I was like, well, it's still ugly. And then I was like, well, why don't I do terracing? So I made terracing. So here's my first terrace. Here's the second one. And the third one. The little terrace. And then I was like, well, what do I do with these terraces? And so I was like, well, I'm going to do my agriculture up here. So we have carrots and wheat, sugarcane, proper sugarcane. Nothing over there yet. I'm going to do beets and other things down over there once I have them. And then pumpkin, which I have. And then melon. Over here, once I have melon, I'll even hold this out a bit more. But I don't have melon yet. And then I'm going to put railing. Because if you fall, it didn't used to be the case, but now it is. If I fall onto cropland, it will undo the cropland, which is annoying. I don't want that to happen. So, that's my terracing. I may or may not do more that way. Honestly, as it stands, there is enough terracing here for all my agricultural needs. I don't think I will need to create more, but we'll see. And then we have my castle. It's not complete. So we come up here, and we have the entrance, and it's got a lip on it. And you might be like, well, why'd you bother with that lip? Spiders. So if you have spiders, and obviously it's not secured yet, if you've got a spider, it can crawl up the wall. But once it gets to a lip, it can't go up and around the lip. I believe it also can't go side to side. And thus, in this way, once I get these windows filled in, which I think I'm holding out for full stained glass, which could be a long holdout. We'll see what I feel. I'm going to get regular glass, I decided. They can't go up the lip. And then I, get a good old castle-y feel with my parapet and all that. So, I've been building this slowly but surely over time, a little bit at a time, and a little area here. I'm useless, I just had the space, so I went with it. And there's entrances over there, but I'm going to use it at one over here. This is the first entrance, and then I will extend it that way, because you may recall my plan is to wall in this valley, as well as this other valley, fill it up with lights, as you see what I'm doing, and secure it from monsters, so that I can run around with monsters on, my wife can run around with monsters on, and not worry about it. But haven't gotten that way yet. But you may see out over there in the distance, I have started building up a wall over there. Anyway, build up this area, have a little deck, so I can look out and make sure my llamas are behaving themselves. And I did a little experiment with a window here. So, as you can see, these are stairs. Oh, I did it that way. Stairs, full block, half block. Okay, this is a nice little portal. I will talk about it over there in a little bit. There's a basement down in here. Nothing going on here. This castle's going to have a whole lot of empty space. I did polished diorite. Left in here. I should probably move these. Little causeway. My entrance is just below me. Then we just have this really large parapet. Awkward space there. And more and more parapet. Hopefully it's sufficiently lit. And then here's a section I'm still working on. See, the ceiling's not done. There's not a floor in place. My plan is to terracotta the whole floor, which I decided to hold off doing it myself and not to do it in a video. So to play with use that excuse to play with terracotta. Although on the note of terracotta, let's talk terracotta a little bit. So this is red terracotta. Some of the patterns you can do with it. This is orange, yellow, light gray. Obviously not every pattern I can do in everything. This is white, not blue. It could be blue, but it's white. This is brown, I think? Yeah, brown. So just me playing with terracotta. I think it's cool. Ladder up to the roof. All that. So this is my castle. Work in progress. It's kind of a defensive, more a fortification. I don't really plan to build anything beyond here. So the goal here is to just keep monsters out of the valleys that me and my wife and I work inside. This is going to go down. Obviously I'm going to secure it, go across, secure my forestry area, then probably come up in some way and then close up with the entrance you saw over there. There's a door here, goes down into my agricultural terracing. So one of the reasons also the terracing came to mind was llamas are, South American, which made me think of the Incas, and the Incas did a lot with terracing. So, because they lived in a mountainous area, right? Inca? Yeah, it was Inca, in Peru and what have you. So that gave me the idea part of the idea of terracing, which, one could also think China, or I think some Japanese areas do terracing, but I think it's more a Chinese thing than Japanese. But don't quote me on that. I obviously don't know what I'm talking about. So yeah, kind of the llama gave me the idea of Inca, which made me think of terracing. So, all right, let's go. Speaking of the valleys, let's go to them. There we go, run a little faster. Woo. So yeah, not sure what to do here. This kind of, not really was thinking too well. I could just open this up and build into here, but I kind of like that hallway. So what I'm thinking about doing is cutting this out, filling it with water, maybe having like a little fountain or something, and lily pads. I don't know, something amuses me. So going down here, this actually used to be like a little ravine, but I filled it in, much like with that kind of terracing concept. Although I gave it more of a natural look. I didn't do the retaining wall like I did on the other side. And we have a road, we come down here. And so this is the valley underneath the plateau, which we're gonna go up there. There's some random spots where water is just coming out of the wall, the plateau. So my wife, she kind of started, I finished it off, made this kind of a dam, and just a lake, because it amused me. I think I need a little bit of light right here. There we go. Yeah. So we ended up building a room in there above the water. I'll show you how to get one of the ways to get into it later. And we have some ideas for that, but I haven't gotten anywhere. This is my agricultural area. I am phasing it out for the terracing. So what I'm going to do is, when I get around to it, fill this all in with grass, it's just grass, and then move my sheep over. And my sheep are actually the main reason why I moved my agriculture into the terraces, besides the fact that it just seemed right. There is not enough space in here for my sheep. Notice how they've eaten all the grass, and some of them haven't grown back yet. So I want sheep of every color is my goal. And hopefully they don't just disappear, which is a bug. Which theoretically, they may have fixed it. They fixed another bug where all the sheep would like hang out in one corner, and I think what was happening is they were suffocating or despawning or something of that nature. So they fixed that. I haven't seen that continue. I'm hoping that I won't just find all my sheep gone one day, because that's happened to me, which is really annoying. But yeah, I'm going to move my sheep out of this tiny little pen, and I'm going to refurbish the bigger area into a single pen for them, and thus hopefully have enough grass for the number of sheep. I don't know what the ratio of sheep to grass should be. Theoretically, you can have 16 different colors of sheep. I intend to do such. I suspect that maybe the ratio is something like 4:1, 4 pieces of grass for every sheep. So this may even itself end up too small for my sheep. So we'll see what happens. And then this will probably become cows or something like that. I'll probably do pigs and chickens and what have you. So I haven't gotten around to moving everything over, but you know, piece by piece, and get it over there. I just started it like this morning. Obviously, I still have pumpkin down here because it grows back really quickly. Once your pumpkin gets up and going, it grows ridiculously quickly. Like ridiculously quickly. All my farms, by the way, have the same basic pattern. You have a water block in the middle, and then radiating out 4 blocks from that is your actual farm. Because you have to keep your plants irrigated, which is something I did not know when I started playing. Like that first week I started playing, I didn't read up on anything, and I made some farmland, and I planted some wheat, and it all died. So I had to go and look it up. But because what you need is a bit of water. You can have something over the water to keep you from falling in. And then you can go out 4 and another 4. So you end up with a 9 by 9. You can obviously make it bigger. If I was to go from here 4 in, another, I could have like a 9 by 18. And we could keep going on from there. Another thing with wheat is wheat, when it's right next to each other, doesn't grow well. So you need to have a row of something else in between. Or so I've read, and I've kind of noticed it myself as well. So yeah. And then cactus. I actually have far more cactus than I know what to do with. I will I will grow a lot less when I move it over to my terracing. Okay. So let's go and hang out and check out. Wow. Let me up. I need to do something about that. Let's go on up. So yeah, this is what brought us here to begin with, this giant plateau. It is actually, theoretically, as long as it's lit on the top, completely monster-proof. So if I was to have some sort of mob invasion down here and they got through all my defenses, which aren't built yet, They could not get up here. One, mobs can't do ladders. And yeah. So I like doing ladders like this, where you have the ladder and something on both sides, because it makes it really easy to climb it. I don't have to worry about falling off. I'm safe. So you come up here, little, area. Didn't use being closed in, but I'm a big safety freak. I don't like falling off of high heights. I was also level 30, like 31, and I didn't have a enchantment table built yet. So I was really keen on not losing my levels. As you can see, I'm much lower now. I died a couple times and used up my levels. But anywho, this was my wife's initial house, crafting table and her supplies and her bed. So this is actually her little house that she built with a little help from me. I assisted a little bit with the roof because it got a little funky over there. And she came up here. She started this little pathway. She planted the trees and well, not all the trees, but a good number of them, and started putting out and down torches. And then and she started putting the fencing up for protection. So if a mob, well, spiders can get over that. So really all you have to worry about is spiders. But yeah, that's what she did. And then I kind of took over and built my house here. I was like, hey, this is like a really weird spot. Can I use it? She's like, yeah, sure. I don't have any plans for it. So I dug it out, ended up with a basement, and then started expanding it and ended up with my really big house. Yeah, that's a pressure plate. You can use rugs too, which is what the system uses. I like pressure plates because they actually look like wood, but they click. But we come over here and yeah, we have my house. A lot of glass. Come in here, glass, arching, glass roof, and an indoor park, I guess you would call it. But the archways, I actually really like how this came out. Using stairs and what have you. More spruce, of course. Over here, down there goes into that basement area I mentioned. I cleaned it up, and that's kind of was the start. And I just expanded. I honestly don't plan when I build. I just start building, and just wherever it takes me is where I go with it. But if we come down here, there's a lot of open space. I was originally gonna like build a workshop down here, but then I built it down over there. Yeah. And my little indoor park, I think is really cool. The tree came here. It came in this way. I thought it was neat, so I left it. I didn't build this tree or plant it. I did plant all the flowers. I think there's one of every possible flower in here. I could be wrong. I have orange, I have red, pink, there's white tulips, there's one. I've got all the other funny flowers. So I think I actually have every flower type in here at this time. Oh, I never filled that in. Well, can't do it now. And if we come down here, we go into the bowels of the mountain. We have that secret room, which for some reason is rendering weird. I don't know why, but it's rendering dark. I think there might be a chunk transition here, maybe, or something. I'm not entirely certain what's going on with the lighting here. Now it's behaving itself. Whatever, I'll leave it there. Our plan was actually to dig out a little bit more and put lava, and then have like a line where the lava meets the water, which obviously would become obsidian if I do it right. And so we'd have obsidian, we'd have lava and water under the glass. I thought it would be really neat. And if we come down here, another funny little room. And here, see, I don't know what's going on here. It's just weird. But secret entrance that now is no longer secret. You can kind of see it. If you didn't know it was there, you might not think about why it looks like that. I tried placing a block right here in an attempt to kind of diffuse it, but it didn't work. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the light. That light should be... And see, now it is. Weird. Bit of a bug, but whatever. But yeah, that's also another secret entrance if for some reason we felt like it. That way. Turned around for a moment. So yeah, that's my house. I never use it. But there's a bed, and it's almost more of a conservatory, really. But don't ask me why I used, is that birch? I think that's birch for the floor. Actually, it could be a better question of why my wife did. She did these stairs and the ones over there, and I just kind of ran with it. But here is the library, which I actually mean to put more bookshelves in here to make it more library, and crafting table, and this is what I came here for, to drop off my lapis. And yes, that is emerald. When you're in Extreme Hills biome, you can mine emerald, and it's actually quite plentiful. It's supposed to be really rare, but I found it incredibly plentiful, enough to build these 2 blocks. This is actually a fairly expensive building. Between the amount of leather needed to make all this, diamond in here, emerald, redstone, which is not that expensive. There's a fair amount of material put into here. And then, you know, we have our infinite water supply, because I didn't have one up here. Which, by the way, if you don't know how to make an infinite water supply, if you put in a 2x2 area, a bucket of water in each corner, it'll fill in these 2 corners, and no matter how much water you take out of it, it will always refill. Same with if you go like in a line of 3 and put water at both ends, it'll fill in the center block, and as long as you pull from the center of block, it will be infinite. Good trick. Alright, let's go over here. Now we get into the weird stuff my wife's making, which I honestly have no idea what she's up to. So I'm gonna go use a bed so it's not nighttime. I like the view from up here, though. You can see. You used to be able to get a better view into my quarry area, but with the building of the castle, it's starting to fill in. Which I would wonder. I mean, I don't have the graphics for it. I don't have the monitors for it. But with the new 4K resolution update coming out soon, you can buy the graphics pack for that resolution. I would love to see what all this would look like with that resolution pack, with that graphics pack. I imagine it would look quite stunning, the view from up here. I've seen some pictures. I was reading an article, and they had some pictures from a preview, I guess, and it was gorgeous. I have to give credit there. It was absolutely gorgeous. But moving on. So my wife likes to build weird things. She's, I think, even worse than me when it comes to not planning, which is not a downside. It makes some really interesting things. So she built this causeway across from our plateau to the mountains over here, which is like our one big security hole, because theoretically a mob can spawn over there, because it's not secured with enough light, and just walk across. So I need to put like some sort of iron doors somewhere around here, or just doors in her causeway, which she had fun making. You can see we have a swamp down there. Yes. And if you're wondering why sometimes, oh, that's not secured. You get these kind of double high fences. I'll show you why. See if I can do it without dying. If you come down from a stair at the right angle, you can actually end up on top of the fence, and then, in this case, fall to your doom. See? Doom. Anywho, random plateau thingy that my wife made. I don't know if she's quite done with it. I was going to put our nether portal up here once I get around to building one, which I'm going to do a video on that, because I build them in a kind of fun way. But there's also talk about putting the enchanting table up here. Never happened. And then if we come down here, this is where she was last working and died. I don't have a clue what she's up to down here. She's got this like double, triple, quadruple. Oh, she closed it up. She was, I think, planning to have this go all the way down to the ground, but then I did the calculations and told her that if she did this, it would end like on the other side of that river. And I think failing. That was just too far. So, I mean, she has been playing a little bit recently. But she's also up to something up here. I have no idea what. She gave herself an exit. I think she's planning to build. Yeah, there's. Oh. That's what she's been doing with that terracotta. Oh, I think I see what she's up to. What the stairs? I don't know. She's gonna build like a little castle here, or like a terracotta. Whatchamacallit? Or something. I don't know. She's got this funny little half platform. I don't know what she's up to. But I think it's gonna be some sort of base. But yeah, because I guess she really likes the light gray, and she took all the light gray I had at the time. So colors. Yes. They seem to have different costs. Like red is like probably the most inexpensive of all the colors because one, there's like 4 different flowers and you can use beets to make red. Green is also fairly cheap in that it's just cactus. As long as you can get cactus, you're good to go. But things like black, really expensive because they only can be done with ink and you only get 1 dye. Ink is just ink, it's just 1 dye. When I make red, whatever I used for the red, I think gives me like 2. So once again, red's even cheaper. So if we had to do a dye-based economy, black would be like the thing that people would trade for. Words. Anyway, so that's the plateau. That's my entire base. I have nothing else in this world that I use or work in. And from this point forward, it won't be showing off what I have built. It will be showing off things I am building, funny projects, debating on the merits of pastures for sheep, and exploiting the nether, eventually building a nether portal and how I like to build it, and other fun stuff of that nature. Yep, do it from up here, up on high. So, if you have any questions about anything you saw here, or how I built something, or want to see me build something, feel free to comment, ask questions, things of that nature. If I rambled about something and you had some questions, or wanted me to ramble about something, let me know. As always, if you did like anything I have to say, I always would like you to subscribe, because that's how this channel will actually become a channel and not just me talking to myself. But besides that, I hope you all have a good day.